Hi, welcome back to Cuff'em and Quote'em. I almost said booktube. Welcome back to the booktube section of Cuff'em and Quote'em. This video thing, we're gonna do the Houseplant book tag that I stumbled across on booktube while watching some of y'all's videos. I'm obsessed with houseplants, so I have a lot of them. So this was really exciting for me because then I get to show off all of my plants and talk about books at the same time. So yeah, I was a big houseplant person before the whole stay in your house nonsense started, and now it's reached an extreme level. So yeah, we're gonna show off some plants and talk about some books. The first plant is a monstera plant, which I don't have. I don't have a monstera plant. The leaves are kind of cool, but it's not really my thing. So I'm gonna talk about my beautiful, oh, we'll take it out of, I'm not gonna take it out of the pot, it's too hard. My Enjoy Pothos. Look how pretty she is. She's not doing so hot. I had to kind of nurse her back to health a little bit. When I bought her, she was planted in a not very suitable pot with 3 other plants, which I'll talk about later, and her roots were not so good. But so I had to repot her, and I'm trying to propagate some stemmy bits inside so I can get her foliage going a little bit. But she's starting to get some vines. She's starting to get a little leggy. And her color is coming back gorgeous. Like, look at that one. Look how pretty all of her colors are. I had a lot of like root rot that I had to deal with because the pot she was in didn't drain. But look how good she's doing. My plan, so this one hangs up there in the corner of my bookshelf, library, whatever. My plan is eventually to get her to drape across my bookshelves because I want to live inside a rainforest. So yeah, this is my Enjoy. I love the coloring. I want another one of these, but I think if I hang any more plants in my house, my wife might kill me. But at the same time, always, it's better to ask forgiveness than permission. So I might just hang some shit up one day and she'll never know. Anyway, so the monstera plant is the book that you saw so much you just ended up reading, which is definitely the A Throne of Glass series. I had never even heard of that author until all of a sudden my Instagram feed was flooded with A Throne of Glass stuff, like nonstop. I don't know if there was a memo I missed when that happened, but nonstop did I see these books. And the covers were really cool. It had a young adult vibe that I was not digging though, so it took me a long time to get on the bandwagon and finally read it. Because it seemed, I don't know, maybe it was just the types of posts I was seeing them in, but I did not think I was going to like it, and it seemed very like cliche fight the elves kind of book. And then I finally just was like, fuck it, broke down and read them, and I blazed through them in like a week. I think I read through the first 2 in like a day and a half, and I was like, oh my god, I now understand. And it's one of my favorite series now. So took me a minute to get on the bandwagon, but I enjoyed it once I did, so whatever. The second plant book trio that we're going to talk about is the cactus. I don't have cacti. I just think they're kind of ugly. Find me a cactus that is not all thorns and a little more foliage, and I might do a cactus. But so far they just look like painful problems. And I have cats apparently that think they need on the shelves. He tried to leap onto this earlier, knocked all my shit off. So I don't know if having pokey plant porcupines would be a good idea until that idiot learns to leave my shit alone. He's never done that before. Just this last week, he's like, I'm gonna get on the bookshelves. Anyway, cactus. I don't have a cactus, but I do have a couple of these flaming Katies, which are super pretty. It's a succulent thing. Yeah, I think it's a succulent. Anyway, it's got these gorgeous, it's a winter flowering plant, which is super cool. It's got these giant, like really thick waxy leaves, and the flowers are these gigantic clusters of pretty little, they're pretty. I have a red one, but that one bloomed a lot earlier, and so the blooms are starting to drop. But this one's doing really good still. So there's my flaming Katie that's pretending to be a cactus right now. The question for the cactus is the character that you like despite their flaws. And so continuing the Throne of Glass theme, that would be Manon. She was a bitch, but I loved her. She grew, like, I did not like her for the first few chapters of her plot. I just thought she was just mean. She was unnecessarily mean. And then all of a sudden she just grew on me and she was just like a spiny, prickly bitch, and I loved her. She had such a great character development. Her character arc does not get enough credit, I think. If there was a whole, if you're listening, secondary side story of just Manon, I'd read the shit out of that. Just saying that. I loved Manon. Her character, like, it was good development. Like, she went from having one very black and white point of view to realizing that there's gray in the world and you can have opposing opinions, and she grew so well. She had such great character development. Her personality development was fantastic. She was just a prickly bitch and I loved her, and I need more Manon in my life. The next plant is the Aloe Vera plant. I don't have an aloe vera, I have a lace aloe vera. They're outside though, and they're huge, so I'm not going to bring them in and put them, but I'll picture. Boop. I got these things when they were like itty bitty little tiny baby things, and since then they have grown to these monstrosities. I think they're almost a foot across now. They're huge. They're a little sunburned. I put them out too soon and in too much direct light, and they got a little sunburned, but I'm bringing them back. They've been through worse. I thought they were an actual cactus for the first 2 years I had them, and so I just put them in the direct sunlight in like 90-degree heat and like barely watered them, and I'm like, it's a desert cactus, it's fine. And then I researched what they were and I was like, oops! They don't like direct heat. They get sunburned. Anyway, I'm fixing them, they'll be fine. So the lace aloe is the question for your favorite comfort read. My favorite comfort read, I'm gonna see if I can get it. So my comfort read, and I had to go deep into my childhood for this one, is Into the Land of the Unicorns. This book, I mean, it's like a grade school read book. There's like a whopping 150 something pages, 158 pages, but like the print is huge. I read this book in grade school. I don't know, we'll say grade school. And I forgot about this book for the longest time. And this girl, she finds a unicorn, and I love unicorns because dragons and unicorns, you can't have one without the other. And I loved this book. It was such a fun, easy read, and it has a fantastic plot, and there was so much adventure. There was talking unicorns, and you had to save the world, and I loved it. I read the second one, which got significantly thicker. But I read the second one, and I don't know if the third one ever came out because, once again, my attention span's not huge. So that was my comfort read. It's a quick, easy little read, and I still think about this book. It's a fantastic story. I kind of want to reread it just for fun, but that's my comfort read. The next book plant pair are succulents, and I have lots of succulents. I'm going to show you one of my succulents because my other succulent I'm going to substitute for a different plant, but my one, this is my elephant bush. He's doing really well since I moved him to his, funny enough, north-facing window. He loves it really well because it's bright enough. There's enough ambient light, I think, that he loves it. That's my elephant bush. The leaves, when they get really full, turn these really pretty purple, like brown color. And like there's tons of little like baby new growth. And I'm trying to propagate some more down below. I don't know if it'll work. I don't know, I'm trying. I really want a big full elephant bush, but I just have this one stalk and I'm not willing to cut a mature branch off to propagate it because I like it the way it is. So we'll see. I had a little itty bitty one that I snipped off, and I don't know if it's gonna work, but we'll try. And this is my elephant bush. It is not a jade. It looks like a jade, but it's not a jade plant. It's an elephant bush. For you plant people out there that are about to correct me, it's an elephant bush plant because it has the droopy leaves, the branches. It's not a vertical grow, it's a horizontal grow. It's an elephant bush. Looks like a jade. But here's one of my really favorite succulents because it's just so freaking weird looking. I love it. And apparently elephants eat it. So the succulent is the book trope that you actually love. And I like a lot of tropes. I mean, you can't read fantasy and not like tropes, I feel like, because a lot of them are written in certain tropes. But I like the chosen hero or like the chosen one reluctant hero, because I feel like those are very intertwined most often. I like that. I don't know, something about being important, like having the universe say that you are important, appeals to me. Like everybody wants to feel important and feel needed and feel like their existence matters. And so like having that one person who doesn't think they matter suddenly matter a lot. I don't know. I like it. I buy into it. I like it. I'm not apologetic about it. It's cheesy sometimes, but come at me. The next one is the snake plant. I don't have a snake plant. I want a snake plant. They look kind of funky. But I kind of like funky looking plants, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't have a snake plant, but I have another succulent. This is my jade. This is my emerald, marble, jade, tricolor. There it is. It's my tricolor jade and she is also not doing so well. Once upon a time, I thought she was a cactus, and so I put her outside. And so some of her older leaves are super crusty, but her new growth is really good. Like, look how good this one is. All pretty and marbled. Apparently, I like the marbled color. My Pothos, whatever. Anyway, so she's my pretty, see, vertical, not horizontal. So jade. But yeah, I like her. Now that I know it, now that I have done research and I've officially figured out what she is, she's doing, her new growth is really good. And like, it's cool because you put them in, if you put jades, or at least this type of jade in direct sunlight, they will start to turn, I don't know if you can see it, pink. They'll start to get little pink. Where's another one? Oh, there's one. See the pink? They'll start to turn pink on their leaves if you put them in direct sunlight. And like there's tons of new offshoots that are popping up. I might try to propagate this one because it's really pretty. And I've never seen a tricolor jade before. I don't even remember where I found this. But all the jades I've seen now look like the elephant bush I had. They're just a solid green. I've not been able to find another tricolor. So I might try to propagate this one. Maybe snip off one of these new branch growths once it gets a little bigger. I don't know. I'm also worried about killing them. I know that snipping it off on a succulent won't kill it, but part of me worries. So that's my not snake bush, not a snake plant jade. So the snake plant is the character that betrayed you. And this one took me a minute to remember because I really don't take plot twists like that personally. Like it's if you can surprise me with the character betrayal, I'm usually impressed because I tend to spot those pretty early. And so so when there is one that I'm like, holy, and like I'm usually really impressed because I spot them. But the character that messed me up was in the Great and Terrible Beauty series. This one. Spoiler about to come if y'all haven't read this book. Be warned. Yeah, the teacher, what's her name? I wrote it down, I don't remember. Miss Moore, Hector Moore, when she betrays the trio, that hurt me. Like, I thought she was dead. I was mourning for her, just like Gemma was. Gemma, whatever her name is. Like, I was crying, I was sobbing. Me and my friend who were reading it at the same time, we were like having a moment because we thought she was dead, and then we find her again and she freaking betrays everybody. Yeah, that one hurt me. That was the first big betrayal. Mad-Eye Mooney was very similar when he turned out to be evil, but then wasn't evil, redeemed himself or whatever. She never redeems herself. She just becomes evil the whole time and is just, So the next plant, whoops, it's leaking on me. God damn it. The next plant is the spider plant, which I will never get. That thing looks ugly. I'll fight you on this. It looks Like, I can't decide if it wants to be a vining plant, a fern, or a frickin' spur. I don't, no. I will never get a spider plant. They look weird. But anyway, the plant I'm substituting for the flower plant is my orchid that I saved. I rescued this orchid. It's supposed to be a moon orchid. I rescued it for my wife's work because it was dying. It was not doing so good. It's actually doing pretty good. It dropped its flower really early. I cut it off because it dropped its flower already, which for the season we're in, it should still have a flower, according to my research. But the new growth is doing really well. When I brought it home, when I had my wife steal it, it was only like this big. So I'm gonna assume it's doing okay. So eventually one day it'll have a flower. But there's my substitution for my spider plant, because they're not pretty, and I'll fight you on that because they just look like a weed. The book that goes with the spider plant is which book you wish you had a series or a sequel or more of. And this one's going to be a curveball for y'all, but it's going to be North and South. I wish so badly this had a sequel. I want nothing more than to know how they are going to go back and live their life together. I love this book so much. And John Thornton and whatever her freaking name is, Margaret, I ship them so hard, and I love the growth that Margaret goes through in this book. And the series, the BBC series, the miniseries that was done, I can watch that on repeat for days. I have before. I love it. I don't even care that the ending is completely unrealistic and isn't even close to the ending of the book. I don't even care. I love it. It's one of my favorite book adaptation miniseries things ever. I love it so much. And I want more. Like, to the point where I've bought fanfic of this just because I want more so bad. I love this book. I want to see John Thornton and Margaret Hale attempt to live together with his mother at the mill. I want it so bad. But I'm never gonna get it, ever. And I love this book so much. And I don't think Elizabeth Gaskell, I don't think she gets enough credit for being an author in the time period and what she wrote. I mean, it's a book about the hardships of the poor and the working industries of industrialization with a love story. It's fantastic. It's perfect in every way, and I will fight you on that. I love it. And the BBC adaptation is perfect. The next one is the Peace Lily, which I don't have, but I do have an azalea tree. Ta-doo! Look at my little azalea tree. I almost killed this. My wife got this for me for Christmas. Well, she got me like the coupon to go pick one out, and so I picked out this one. And I did not do enough research, and I didn't realize that it was very sensitive to drought and that its roots are very surface level. And so the second they start to dry out, I nearly killed it. Like, I thought I was overwatering it, which tends to be my problem. And turns out that's the opposite for this one. And I almost killed him, but I brought him back. Look, he's got a little new, where's my camera? Little new growth that I'm going to try to vine up through. And there's a whole bunch of new buds popping up. And so it dropped all of its blooms, which I feel bad about because it was really pretty. But it's coming back, so that's good. She's super pretty though. I don't know if you ever like the canopy on this thing. Oh, it's so cool. It's a little light on this side. I'm trying to get, I don't know how, but I'm gonna try to get it to bloom more on that side so I can fill out the canopy a little bit. But the blooms on this is so pretty. I can't wait for it to bloom again. But I almost killed it, but I saved it. It's fine. So the Peace Lily, or azalea tree, is the cover, like the book with the most beautiful cover. I had a really hard time with this one because I have a lot. I shop with my eyes with books for sure, 100%. And I was able to narrow it down to a series. But I don't know if I can narrow in that series. I don't know if I can narrow it down anymore. I think it just might be the series. So I'm gonna say the series with the best covers, the Green Rider series. And I've talked about this book a lot, and I'm sorry guys, I'm gonna keep talking about it. But like, the covers, oh god, reach. The covers are just gorgeous. Like, there's so much detail in them. And I'm a horse lady 100%. So I love the cover, and I love that the covers are reprinted on the spines. I don't know. And like, they continue. Like, that's what I loved about these books, is you take the dust jacket off and the whole thing ends up being a giant painting. It's just, it's so pretty. Ugh. Like, they're just pretty. And like the person who used to do the cover art, I don't remember his name, he died, but he was like a formal artist and would paint up these giant canvases that they would scan and turn into covers. I don't know, I just think they're pretty, and there's tons of detail in them, and it might be a little bit because I'm obsessed with the series, which I'm willing to admit is the possibility. I don't know, I think they're really pretty. I'm not going to show you all of them because I'll leave some to suspense, but I just think they're pretty. Yeah. The next plant is English ivy, which I do have outside. I almost, once again, almost killed that plant because I put it outside too early and the roots hadn't established quite yet, and so I nearly killed it because we had one last big frost that came out of nowhere. But it's coming back. It's got a whole bunch of new growth, and I put 2 more plants to help kind of get it going. Eventually it's going to go up that trellis, and I'm hoping it'll be gorgeous. But yeah, so there's my English ivy. The book for the English ivy is the Best Friend Trio, or Friend Group, or whatever, and I'm going to go back to Great and Terrible Beauty on this one. Screw you, Harry Potter. Great and Terrible Beauty has the best friendship ever. Because it's so broken. Like, there's no reason these kids should be friends, but they are, and they like backstab each other. They come back around and they save each other. They make like terrible teenage mistakes, and they fight and they make up, and they have a loyalty that they'll do anything for each other. There's heartbreak, and the friend trio in Great and Terrible Beauty is amazing. Like, that book made me cry so many times. Like, Pippa, and Felicity's just an asshole, but I love her anyway. Great and Terrible Beauty. That friend trio is perfect. Because I just feel like it emulates what a real group, like a friend group is. Like, it's never perfect. Everybody's got the one kid that they're better friends with. And then that person has, like, I mean, it's not like with Harry Potter where you're like perfectly friends with everybody. Like, you have your favorite. You've got the one friend that you've known longer or you get along with better. And then you've got the others that you kind of tolerate despite, like, they're kind of assholes, but you like them anyway because your friend likes them, so you tolerate them. I don't know. I feel like that is the most realistic friend group I've ever seen in a book before. The next plant is the Areca palm? Areca palm? I don't know. A palm of some kind. I've never even heard of this. Don't know what it is. Don't have one clearly. But I do have, God, oh my God, ugh, this monstrosity. I love it so much. Oh, this one's also leaking on me, damn it. So these are my dragon trees. So this is my dragon tree, this one. I gotta use my legs. This is my dragon tree. I think it's the Marga something or other. It's the one that's got the red, it's got the red edge. It's so gorgeous. I love this thing so much. There's a plant company, YouTube, Instagram thing called Plantarina. Y'all need to check. If you are plant people, y'all need to check out Plantarina. I'll link their YouTube below. I can watch those videos for days, and I want all of their plants so much. They have a couple dragon trees, and I might just break down and get one or two more because I love these so much. And I was reading that you can propagate these if you cut the stem, and then where you cut it, the existing plant will splinter and grow two more, and then you can propagate the one you cut. But I can't bring myself to cut this. Do you see this beauty? I can't cut him. I can't. And then this is it's another type of dragon tree bush thing. I think its common name is Song of India. I also might have just completely completed or put two plants together as the same. But this one, let me move all of its hair out of the way. That one is gorgeous. And it's got a whole bunch of new growth, and it's that really pretty light green and white marbling color that I just apparently is my thing. So these two were potted with my Pothos. So these three plants were potted together in an itty bitty little like trough thing. It looked really pretty when I bought it. And then I did a little bit of research and I was like, this thing alone can get to feet tall if you let it. And the Pothos is a vining plant that needs a whole bunch of drainage. And this thing doesn't even like to be watered. Why are they in a pot together? So I repotted them and now they're doing great. They're doing beautiful, and like my Song of India or whatever dragon variation it is getting super tall, and it's getting a whole bunch of new growth. You can kind of see it. And then my dragon tree, it's leaking water all over me. I watered it yesterday and it's still draining out. My dragon tree is beautiful. My cats keep trying to fucking eat it. I'm gonna beat those bastards. So yeah, it's taking everything in me not to buy more of my dragon trees because, oh God, this thing is heavy. Because they're gorgeous. God, my wife's gonna kill me if I come home with more plants, but this isn't even all of them. This is maybe half. Anyway, sorry, focused. The palm tree that's now the dragon tree because it fakes it being a palm. That's the book that everybody should have on their shelf. And this one is another classic because no matter what you read, I think you need to read the classics or at least have a working knowledge of. And so the book that everybody should have on their shelf and have read is Les Mis. Everybody needs to have read this book. And it's a monstrosity. I'll give it to you. So, I mean, if you want to read an abridged version, have it be one that's minimally abridged, not the one that takes out whole, huge, gigantic sections. Like there's some versions of Les Mis I've seen where I'm like, where's the rest of it? That's not even half the book. You need to read this book. This book talks about the plight of the human condition so well. I don't care what Dickens did. Hugo did it better. It shows what humans can do when they can find the strength to carry on and what humans can do when they don't. It's just, everybody needs to read Les Mis. Screw Dickens. Victor Hugo's better. And if you want to truly understand human spirit, you need to read Les Mis. Yeah, if you can't read Les Mis, you need to read The Republic. Yeah, going deep into the classics with this one. The Republic, if you can't bring yourself to do Les Mis, you need to read The Republic. Like, specifically, if you don't want to read the whole thing, find, because it's books, it's broken down into like book 1, book 2, book 3, whatever. Find the one that talks about the cave and the Emerald City. Pretty sure it's called the Emerald City. It's been a minute. Those two talk about humans when like learning new knowledge and breaking apart from the pack and the road less traveled kind of thing. And the Emerald City is the entire idea that we trade freedom for security. If you can't bring yourself to read the whole Republic, you got to read at least those two books. Because once you read that, you can see it all the time in your daily life. It's, anyway, Les Mis is better. But if you don't want to read Les Mis, read this one. There's some deep classics for y'all. The last plant book combo on this shindig is the Chinese Evergreen, which I don't have. Although I've looked that thing up and that's gorgeous. I might need to find me one of those. The Chinese Evergreen, I don't have that. I have Bleeding Hearts instead. They are my favorite plant of all time. I love them so much. The flowers are amazing. I found a golden bleeding heart this year. I did not know that was a thing, but the leaves are this pretty yellowy color. That one has yet to, it's still growing. It's very young still, so that one's a tiny little bush. But my other one is huge, and I love it so much. But the book that goes along with the Chinese Evergreen is Your Favorite World. And this one by far is going to have to be the Dragon Riders of Pern world. It's amazing. I need to reread this series because I went deep. I had them like chronologically broken down by series and what part of I had the whole canon broken out. But the world of Pern that Anne McCaffrey builds in this book, oh, it's amazing. Like I think the reason I like it is because if you start with this, you got to start with this series, the Dragon Riders of Pern series. Yeah, novel, and then you got the second one, third one. It introduces you into this world where the sun spits out these spores that destroy organic material. And the dragons are the only thing that can destroy, like fire. Dragons and fire are the only thing that can like shoot these things out of the air and burn them up before they destroy all of humanity, basically. And they live on this continent, and they make these references to the southern continent that you don't really go to anymore, that's uninhabitable, it's bad, we don't go there. And then as you continue to read these series and read, because like the Dragon Riders of Pern is this huge collection, and then there's usually trilogies for the most part within that world that are in different timelines of Pern. So as you read them, you start figuring out where in relation to the original trilogy they are and the timeline of it, and you learn so much about this world. There's a whole, like, if you dig far enough into the Pern universe, there's books in like the 01, it would be like year 01 of Pern, when the space, because like this is fantasy, this is all fantasy, like there's no space sci-fi stuff in these ones. You go back, well, the newer books, which go backwards in time, you find it's a complete sci-fi, 100% sci-fi. Like they abandoned Earth, these astronaut settlers dudes settle on this planet, everything's hunky-dory, they settle on the southern continent, spoilers, sorry, spoilers, they settle on the southern continent, whole bunch of stuff goes south, they end up migrating, the dragons, they genetically engineer the dragons from these little tiny lizards. Like, it's such a sci-fi series that you don't realize it's a sci-fi series until you continue to read the series. Oh, it's just, the world is so amazing. Also, dragons that you can bond with and make pets, and the little fire lizards. I like it. The world, I got a little off topic, sorry. The world building in Pern that Anne McCaffrey does is phenomenal. And how can you say no to dragons? So, that was my, let's talk about my plants. Oh, also books. Video of the book tag, plant tag thing. I got a little off topic, sorry. Welcome to me. Yeah, if you want to talk about plants, I'm all for it. Yeah. Also books, if y'all want to talk about these books too. Yeah, Charles Dickens can suck it. I hate Charles Dickens. Victor Hugo's way better. But that's my own personal opinion. Yeah, if y'all want to, if there's any books for the questions that you think were better fits, or what you guys would have chosen for those questions, let me know. I'm all for those discussions. Also plants. And check out Plantarina, because that, for real though, if you are a plant person, her videos, also the aesthetic is pretty amazing. But yeah, as always, be nice to each other, stay safe, and we'll see you next time.